Welcome to GBN America. I'm Nana Akua. Now, in breaking news, Prince William has pulled out of a memorial service due to a personal matter, reminding us that our royal family are a normal family, just like the rest of us, and are putting family first. Now, the Prince has been stoic in his duty in supporting his wife and father, the King. But we all fear that this has something to do with the health of Catherine, his wife, the Princess of Wales, who's been signed off until Easter due to an undisclosed abdominal issue. We sincerely hope that they are okay. The King is also keeping a low profile after his cancer diagnosis. He was most recently seen looking in good spirits, but how much of that is just for the cameras, we don't know. I can't help but see part of all of this ill health being caused by the stress the royal family have had to endure over the past 5 years. Shouldering the burden of being labelled as racist, the late Queen's health spiralled downwards after the death of her soulmate, Prince Philip. That ghastly Oprah interview couldn't have helped. I'm disappointed that Oprah didn't use her better judgment and delay or abandon it. And in the most recent months, both the King and Catherine being named in that awful scabies book, Endgame, it's not as if they can hide somewhere. They are arguably the most famous people in the world. In the meantime, Meghan Markle is making dumplings with Afghan refugees in California and getting ready to start her podcast with Lemonada, whoever they are. Let's hope it's better than her last self-absorbed one, Archetypes. And Prince Harry has apparently been warned to back off from the King and learn to live his life without publicising everything. An article in the Daily Mail, I think, sums the brothers up nicely. Harry flew an Apache armoured attack helicopter, which should do about 200 knots at 10 feet above the ground, doing 39 functions at once, firing guns in every direction, whereas William would fly this big beast of a search and rescue aircraft with extra fuel tanks, hammering his way through the storm, picking somebody out of the ocean, coming back. Make of that what you will. So joining me to discuss is Lady Victoria Hervey. Victoria, thank you very much for joining me.
No problem.
And let's talk about this, because the first thing that I want to go through is Prince William. Now, he has just withdrawn from performing his duties as godfather. What do we know?
This is sort of breaking news a couple of hours ago. We don't really know a lot, but it's quite unusual for Prince William to pull out of something so last minute like this.
Because, of course, we know that Catherine is recuperating from abdominal surgery. I think we heard there were complications. I'm not sure of all the details because they haven't told us anything.
No, I don't think we know that much, but I think people sort of will presume that he is not attending because he's spending time with the family.
But of course, then there's the King as well. The King is also recuperating or having treatment for cancer. And again, we don't know whether it could be Catherine, it could be the King.
Well, I think as far as Charles, the fact that they actually told us, and, when the Queen wasn't well, they did not tell us anything, that it definitely shows that it has to be quite serious.
Because, as I'm reading here, the late King Constantine of Greece died in January last year, was actually William's godfather and a very good friend to the Queen. So it's obviously, again, a sort of family-type engagement that he's pulled out of.
I think it's hard for us to sort of guess, what it is. It could be just something going on at, where they are right now, with staff or anything. We don't know.
Now, moving on to the King, I remember a while ago, there was that hot-looking guy that everyone was talking about. Who is he? And apparently he's moved from duty, so he's not going to be working so closely with the royal family. What's going on with him? And who is he?
Yes, he was known as the hot equerry. Well, usually an equerry only actually works for the monarch for 3 years. And it is always someone who has been in the armed forces. And, we don't know, they're saying, he's stepping back because maybe he was getting too much attention.
Of course, we're talking about Lieutenant Colonel Johnny Thompson.
Yes, do we have a photo of him?
I hope so. Let's have a look at that. Hardy probably get in trouble for saying that, by the way.
But, as equerry, it is their duty to be with the monarch for all military duties and public duties. So we don't know really if it is just like his 3 years is up or it is, maybe he just wants a sort of a role that is less public.
Because he's
But he did get a lot of attention.
He did, didn't he? There was that photo. I wonder. I don't know if we're allowed to show it.
They do change them every 3 years, so it could just be someone else from the armed forces is taking up that position.
And I'm wondering if we've heard anything about Fergie at all as well, because she's had a cancer diagnosis too. She's been incredibly quiet and we haven't heard much from her.
No, we haven't. I think she was at the church though today. She attended the service, the one that William didn't make it to.
Yes.
And she's very brave, and she's she bounces back so quick.
And then, of course, there's news of Meghan and Harry.
Right. I mean, I think the situation of like Harry flying in for, seeing his father for half an hour, 45 minutes. I mean, that's not enough. Like your father is potentially like dying and you just fly in for like, just see them that quickly. I don't think that's right. It's almost better that he didn't come than to just add him into his little itinerary of, I'm going to come in and see you for that amount of time.
Well, there's no indication that he's dying. I mean,
no, I'm not saying dying, but I'm saying obviously, like, if you have a serious cancer and it's serious enough for everybody to be told about it, it's not, what Harry did to his grandmother is unforgivable. And what President Trump said about that was very good, actually, because he just said, I'm not going to be standing behind Harry if I become president, because what he did to his grandmother. And when she was in her last years of her life, like, he was too busy running around LA with the new wife. So I don't think, with Harry, it's always a little bit too late.
Yeah.
And the fact that with his father now, and he's just still messing around over there and going to, like, basketball games. It's just ridiculous.
Although I think that if rumour is to be believed, they're apparently saying just stay away and just get on with living your life and stop publicising everything.
Well, I think if he did come and see his father and actually spend some real time with him, and don't publicise it, like just come in, sneak in, don't put it out as a PR situation where everyone has to know. Just, he's doing it really just to keep also the networks interested, like, he still has contact with the royal family. Because without that, he doesn't have anything.
Because his interview with Good Morning America was done with a secondary crew who were following him around for the Invictus Games.
And, of course, the launch of their new website. Since Sussex Royal didn't work, we now have the new one. And so that is all they really have. They don't want to be part of the royal family, but they know that they only make money from being in the royal family.
And then we've got, finally, Meghan Markle. She's joined Lemonada, and the last time she was seen, or the most public thing that I've seen, is her helping Afghan refugees or something and doing some sort of...
She's trying to now do an Angelina Jolie, and it just doesn't really work. So let's see, maybe they'll be adopting a, refugee child next, but I wouldn't put anything past her. Just for, the headlines. I think she's extremely calculated.
Yeah, she does seem that way. Lady Victoria Hervey, thank you very much.
Great to see you.
For joining me. That is, of course, Lady Victoria Hervey. She's a socialite and has very close links with our royal family here in the UK. Taking it across the pond, former President Donald Trump has made it very clear he's not Team Harry, and there's some answered questions left up in the air still regarding Prince Harry's immigration status. So Lee Cohen, advisor to Great Britain to the US House of Representatives Foreign Affairs Committee, joins GBN America. Lee Cohen, good to talk to you. Right, let's get in there. Donald Trump has said that Prince Harry is on his own if I win again. What is Trump talking about?
Well, Nana, as you know, Trump doesn't always say things the way most people would, but he has a talent for saying what most people think. And here he is, bang on again, with people on both sides of the Atlantic who are overwhelmingly, completely fed up with Harry and Meghan's betrayals, disloyal, hypocrisy, and self-promotion. So Trump captures the public's disgust with the poisonous couple's boasting, as in the lofty claims of their new rebranding that depicts Meghan as one of the world's most influential women. But the thing that really drives us over the edge here, Nana, and President Trump capture this too, is the eternal sense of hubris and entitlement for this poisonous pair.
Because, I'm glad that the Americans are seeing what we saw, which we didn't like. It just wasn't very nice. And a lot of it, they might argue that they're trying to get on with their lives, but they just cannot stop involving the royal family. And I know Meghan was recently seen doing something or helping out with some Afghan refugees in California. I don't know whether you've heard about that.
Yeah, indeed I have. Indeed I have. And something you said earlier in your monologue struck me, and that is, this sense of being on one team or another. And it really is more important than that, because there really are diplomatic issues at stake here. And while Joe Biden is the most anti-British president in recent memory, Trump is the UK's greatest unsung champion. And Trump's statement about the Harry case underlined his respect for the institutions, especially the royal family, that Britons cherish.
I find it interesting that some British people are saying, oh, not Trump, but I think he's got to be better than Biden. Anyone's got to be better than Biden. You or I are better than Joe Biden.
You are certainly better than Joe Biden, Anna. But Britons, and I've written extensively about this in the British press. Britons should welcome his return, God willing, as the next president of the United States. He had great affection for the Queen and expressed it vociferously on many occasions. And like many of us Americans, he's outraged at Harry and Meghan's betrayals and disloyalty to the crown. And as for Biden, Anna, perhaps Biden is so receptive and coddling of Harry and Meghan because the drug-taking, entitled, hypocritical Duke reminds Biden in so many ways of his own disaster son, who, like Harry, is a complete mess and major liability to his family.
Now, you mentioned the drug-taking that he admitted in the book Spare, but somehow his sort of legal team appear to be trying to get around it by saying that he's embellishing in the book, so therefore it might not actually be true.
Well, this is just so nonsensical. They're saying that material in a book is not proof of wrongdoing or drug taking. I mean, he wrote it himself, and then he went, round the news stations, publicizing what was in his book to zhuzh it up so that it got the most sales, the most purchases. And here he is proclaiming, from all the media platforms, his drug doing. Who would do that? What kind of parallel universe does Harry live in?
And I guess it's for the courts to determine whether they believe that he's making that up or he made that up to put it. Who would? It's exactly that. No one would put in that they've taken drugs in the book just to sound good. It's clearly, in my view, him attempting to try and sort of get out of that, and that's just typical of him. Now, I know apparently he's doing a documentary, but it isn't with Netflix. What's going on there? Because I would have thought that Netflix wouldn't be up for that.
Well, I think they're casting about for any purchase. And, Harry and Meghan, it seems, will always go to the highest bidder. And so we don't have all of the details yet, but rest assured that's what's in their sights. So we shall see. But one thing I wanted to mention was that, Biden, we have an immigration crisis here that's caused by Biden's neglect and mishandling of our immigration policies. And it's hardly surprising that Biden, the most anti-British president in recent history, has cozied up to Britain's greatest tormentors, the Sussexes. And Prince Harry's current case that you asked about just a minute ago is further illustration that under the Biden administration, there is a two-tiered system of justice. There is one for elites like Harry and one for everyone else. I'm sorry, you go.
No, I'm with you. It's an example of it, isn't it, really? If he does get away with it, it's an example of it. But there have been quite a few high-profile figures who have been turned away from the US for pretty much drug taking. So we'll see what happens with that. Lee Cohen, it is such a pleasure to talk to you. It's great. Thank you so much. That was Lee Cohen there giving us the US perspective on the latest Prince Harry news. And for the latest from GBN America, just go to gbnews.com/America. I'm Nana Akua.